Well, here's a look at the Hall of Fame class of 2024, the induction coming up next month in Toronto. Jeremy Roenick, Pavel Datsyuk, Shea Weber, David Poile, Coley Campbell, Natalie Darwitz, and Chrissy Wendell. And we are just so excited to bring on our guest. There he is! There he is, Jeremy Roenick.
Hi, guys. I'm Jeremy Roenick. Nice to meet you guys. Pleasure. It's a real pleasure. Hi. Hi.
First of all, tell the viewers where you are right now.
So I'm in Las Vegas right now. It's my daughter's 30th birthday, and she's over here from Germany. This is her second time here in the States in like 7 years. She's a professional equestrian over in Europe.
Wow.
And I'm actually sitting on the floor of the Caesars shops because you guys are so important to me. And I haven't been on NHL Network in it seems like 10 years
Too long.
For some reason. So I said, there's no way I'm going to miss this opportunity to talk to two of my favorite people in hockey. So
all
that's where I am.
right. Well, listen, we're happy that you took the time for us today. I mean, I'm glad. I can't believe you have a daughter that's 30 years old. I mean, that's kind of crazy in itself. I mean, I remember young Jeremy Roenick whipping around Chicago and seeing you at All-Star games and things of that nature. But
I know. I'm paying her not to have kids, so I'm not a grandfather yet. So I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that.
All right, Grandpa. Let me ask you.
So good.
Let's get right to the Hall of Fame because I've been JR. I've been kind of when they ask us in the business who should go in. I always met Kevin Weeks the same. We all put our hand up. JR should be in the Hall of Fame. I wasn't sure it was ever going to happen. My heart dropped the day I saw it. I texted you right away. But give me your thoughts. What was going on in your mind that day? Because you had to be blown away.
Well, I think this is the first year that I really didn't even think about it. Every year I know when the induction announcements come out, at least the people that they've brought in. And this is the first year, right? I didn't even think of the time. I didn't think of the date. I didn't think of anything that was going on at the time. I was working out, literally doing a spin class, and I came out of my workout sweaty and wet. And then all of a sudden I see a phone call from 416. I'm like, that's Toronto. Who's calling me from Toronto? So I press the button and it says, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Press 3 for tickets, press 4 for tours. And I'm like, what time is it? What time of year is it? Oh my God, it's June. I'm like, then I got all sweaty. I got all panicky. 5 minutes later, the phone rang and it was Mike Gartner and Lanny McDonald. And I literally froze. I started crying. My heart was going about 1,000 beats a minute. And for the first time in my life, I was speechless and I was crying. I couldn't, I was at Starbucks. I couldn't even get my coffee. The barista was wondering what happened to me in the car. It was just I was a blubbering mess. And to tell you the truth, I still am a blubbering mess, and I will be in a month from now, and I just can't wait. And I'm so humbled and thankful that it's finally here.
JR, richly deserved, man. As Each mentioned, we've been talking about it for a long time and singing your praises as being very deserving for a very long time. In that call, who are the people that came to mind for you immediately when you received that call?
It was, well, number one, my family, my wife and my kids who have been waiting and have gone through this whole, wait with me and the frustration. So I thought of them, and immediately I think of Doug Wilson, who you will see in my Hall of Fame speech, pretty much saved my life. And, I'll expand on that next month. Chris Chelios, Keith Tkachuk, Mike Keenan, a lot of the people that you need in order to reach this opportunity to be enshrined in the Hall. You can't do it by yourself. And I've had some of the greatest people, Steve Larmer, Michel Goulet, Tony Amonte, who I believe is my soulmate of wingers. These are the guys that really came to my mind. I thought about really quick. Chris Chelios was the fourth person that I called, to tell you the truth. My wife, my son, my daughter, and then Chris Chelios. So, yeah, it was pretty special. That was a great question, by the way.
Yeah, that was. I said off camera. I kind of whispered to Weeksy that was a great question. I'll ask you not as great a question, but a question nonetheless. How's your speech coming?
Nice.
That's the one thing that everybody tells me, and it's you guys know me. I speak from my heart, and there's no way I can go there and write a speech. And I've been thinking about a lot of things. I've been jotting a lot of things down that I don't want to forget. Some people I don't want to forget. So I'll have some notes, but it's going to come right from my heart. And there's going to be things that are going to come out of my mouth that I'm not even thinking of right now. But my gratitude and where I am in my life right now is It's so pure and so different than the person that I was 5 years ago, 2 years ago. And I really think that it's going to be very hard for me to get a lot of words out through a lot of my emotions, but you'll see a different person. And I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come out that I didn't expect, and maybe a lot of other people won't expect going into the night.
JR, you say, like, you know, you're different in the last couple of years, whatever. What are the things that have been going on in your life? You know, we haven't been in touch with you as much. We know the things that went on with NBC, all that stuff. It's hopefully in the past now, and you know, I don't want to go down that path. But how are you? Like, what are the things that have been changed in your life?
Well, listen, EJ, everybody has to grow up sometime, and that's even me, right? Everybody has to grow up. Everybody has to realize when, you know, there are things in life that are really important, and things in life that take back seats to what's important. And I've lived a very busy life, a very exciting life, a very humbled life, and literally a life where you can get into a lot of trouble. And I was never a quiet person, as you guys know. I was very outspoken, and a lot of times got into a lot of trouble. I've learned to stop, analyze, decide, rather than be impulsive. Think about the things that I'm doing, who I'm hurting, who I am, you know, who's affected by the things that I'm the decision I'm making. So, you know, I haven't been the best person in the world in a lot of ways. I've been a great person in some ways, but not in general and in full. So I had to really step back. I had to look at my life in full, from the top down, from the bottom out. And, you know, since I was a little kid, it was very hard. It was really hard. And I was humbled, and I know where I am in my life. I know what I'm thankful for. And I know the people that have helped me get there, and the people that deserve to have a big part of my life, and treat them the way they do their food. So it's a hard road, but I'm really happy. I am really happy.
JR, to that end, it's never easy. You talk about this stage of the journey, but it wasn't easy for you either, growing up and taking the path and going to play at the levels you played. And like, listen, everybody that knows me knows that Michael Jordan's my North Star. Always has been since I've been young.
The best.
And people were going to watch MJ at the Garden, and then going to watch you at the Garden. You were must-see. Sorry, at the Madhouse on Madison. Sorry, excuse me. Chicago Stadium. You were box office. What was that like? Like, everybody was coming to watch you. What was that like for you?
Well, it was awesome, no question. And I loved entertaining the fans. Obviously, I know it's a business, and I know it's an entertainment business. I love giving people, I love bringing them out of their seats. I love, you know, showing them appreciation and knowing that that I was thankful that they were there. But Weeksy, that same mentality of notoriety can be very detrimental to you if you don't handle it the right way. And a lot of times I didn't. You know, my exit from Chicago in 1996 was a byproduct of an arrogant, an egotistical, and a player that thought he was bigger than an owner. And, you know, and I got like that because at 18 I came right into the National Hockey League and became a star right away. So when everything comes easy for you, you're put in a situation where you leave high school after your junior year, and you get put into a man's world with all the money in the world and every great thing that life brings right in front of you. You can take it for granted. And I did. And I did it a lot. And unfortunately, it's caused a lot of problems in my life. But I've also realized that I've been very fortunate to play a game for a living and make a lot of money, because it's a great sport. And we have fans that come out and watch us. They have fans that pay their hard-earned money to come get a ticket in those seats that you know are very expensive, but they come out all the time because they love the game. And I loved bringing them the best that I possibly could. And I loved that part of the game. But there was also part of the game that I let kind of get away from me.
You know what's funny, JR, as you mentioned, I was going to ask you about Connor Bedard. I mean, he's a young star now in Chicago, like you were, you know, many years ago now. But, you know, it's a different world now. And, like, I'm here to tell you, JR, 19, you know, when you came into the league in 90, 91, 92, whatever it was in that era, right? I mean, it's not like today. These kids are really protected in a different way than someone like you were. So I mean, you're hard on yourself, and you know we all have to look in the mirror sometimes. And but I'm here to tell you, don't be so hard on yourself, because listen, it was a
I needed
different.
To be harder.
I know
you need to be harder on yourself in order to get to a certain place. But it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, EJ, because yes. I needed to have an attitude like I did back then. I needed to have ego because we were playing against men, and men that looked like they should be in prison, not on an NHL rink, like scary looking men, you know. And we didn't have instigator rule, and the fights were all the time, and guys were fighting for jobs with low salaries, you know. Nowadays, kids. I mean, they give you a penalty when you tap them on the hands. There's barely fighting. These kids are protected. They've been built. All of them look like they're in high school. I mean, it's a different game and it's a different lifestyle. There's no question. That Connor Bedard is going to be a great player. I think I am really curious to see how he does in year 2. I thought last year he did great for a first year, being as small as he is, not having as much support as he did on the Blackhawks. And he would have almost had a point a game maybe if he didn't get hurt. He's a magician on the power play. What I just hope that he gets, I hope he gets a little bit more bite. I hope he gets a little bit more jam in his game. I know he's smaller, and hopefully he feels a little bit more confident. I think sometimes he looks like he's a deer in the headlights. He gets a little bit nervous when someone's coming near him, and obviously he should. He's 160 pounds. But I think if he pushes back and he has a little bite and he has a little jam, splashes a couple guys across the ankles, you know, gives the guys a little bit of lip and shows that he's not going to be pushed around. And because he needs to, because he's got so much talent. He is looked upon to bring Chicago Blackhawks out of the doldrums, and he cannot be a player that has the reputation of being able to be pushed out of a game if it gets too physical. And I hope that he learns that and has that really keen way of keeping it an even keel and still puts up massive points on the board, because the kid is dynamic and awesome to watch.
JR, I'll say this. Growing up in Toronto, right, spent a lot of time going to the Hockey Hall of Fame and being around there and day trips and just going there on my own. Look, man, that's at the corner, the intersection of Yonge and Front Street. That's good. Look at it there. Look at the hallowed hall. It's been a long time coming for you. And it's overdue. And richly deserving. When you close your eyes for just a couple seconds, what's the number one emotion that you feel?
Gratitude. Serious gratitude. You know, my dad passed away in 21 weeks. You've had the luxury of meeting my dad. I've met your dad. We have great families. I just wish he'd be here to see it. But the gratitude, the fact that this is the highest honor that you can get as an athlete. And there was a time I didn't think I was going to get it, or at least not be alive to see it. I felt so sad for Pete Rose when he died last week. I felt I was going to be like him, and it was. So when this happened, it hit me so hard. I didn't think it was going to hit me as hard as it did emotionally, and I'm just very, very humbled and the gratification in me. I'm so grateful that I feel the way that I do, and I'm able to experience it. So it's gratitude for sure.
All right. Well, listen, JR, first of all, thanks so much for taking the time today. We missed you. We're so happy that you took the time to join us today. Hopefully we'll have you on many times this year on our show, because you bring a lot of insight. You bring a lot of insight to this great game. You're one of the great players. And, you know, aside from the fact you're going to the Hall of Fame for all the reasons that you did on the ice, but you were so good with fans, and you brought it out today, and just you helped sell this game for many, many years. So thank you for all that.
Guys.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the time with your daughter, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in that weekend in Toronto. That's going to be something special.
Can't wait. Thanks for having me on, guys. I love you very much, and thanks to everybody out there for all your support.
Back at you, brother. Congrats, man.
All right. The great Jeremy Roenick.